On Christmas Eve, my sister Victoria unwrapped the keys to a gleaming Mercedes SLS, her squeal slicing through the holiday cheer like a knife through tinsel. Mom handed me a delicate silver necklace from the discount bin at Walmart, murmuring something about practicality while avoiding my eyes. Then I rose from the table, uncorked the vintage Cabernet we'd saved for toasts, and doused her designer dress in it, ruby rivulets staining the white silk as I leaned in close and hissed, "Merry fucking Christmas,
Vic.
This is for the 5 years you let me bleed in a cell for your goddamn roadkill." The room froze like a bad rom-com on pause. Everyone mid-bite into their dry-as-hell turkey. Dad's fork clattered against his plate, gravy splattering like abstract art nobody wanted. Aunt Karen, God. That woman with her perpetual wine glass and unsolicited diet tips gasped so hard I thought she'd summon the ghost of Slim Fast Past. And Mom? She just sat there, her perfectly highlighted bob trembling, as if the wine soaking into Vic's lap was the final straw in a lifetime of my dramatic episodes. Vic blinked up at me, those baby blues wide with feigned shock, mascara threatening to run in black tears down her cheeks. But I knew better. 5 years behind bars had sharpened my bullshit detector to a razor's edge. "Selena," she whimpered, voice all honeyed hurt. "What the hell? It's Christmas." "Yeah," I shot back, slamming the empty bottle down hard enough to make the crystal stemware rattle. "And last Christmas, I was counting snowflakes on the razor wire, wondering if you'd even remember my commissary list, the family photos on the mantle, us as kids." Gap-toothed grins in matching Easter dresses seemed to mock me now. Frozen relics of a bond that curdled long before that rainy night on Route 95. Let me back up, because this isn't just about a splash of Pinot Noir on designer threads. It's about the slow poison of family, the kind that seeps into your veins until you're numb to the burn. I'm Selena Harper, 28 years old, fresh out of Rahway State Prison with a chip on my shoulder the size of Jersey. Grew up in this McMansion suburb outside Philly, the kind where every lawn's manicured like a supermodel's bikini line and every driveway screams, "Keeping up with the Joneses." Vic and I were the golden girls, me, the responsible one with straight A's and a volleyball scholarship to Penn State that I flushed down the toilet. Her, the firecracker, prom queen, sorority siren who could charm a parking ticket out of a cop. But charm's got a dark side when it's weaponized. It started small, Vic borrowing my term paper in high school, me covering her shoplifting sprees at the King of Prussia Mall. "You're the good one, Lena," she'd coo, batting those lashes. "You make everything right." By college, it was frat party blackouts I'd babysit, DUIs I'd lie about. I was her shield, her scapegoat, because deep down, I bought the lie that blood was thicker than the law. Then came the night that shattered it all. October 2018, Vic's 23rd birthday bash at some dive bar in South Philly. She was 3 sheets to the wind, pounding Jaeger bombs like they were Gatorade after a spin class. "Drive me home, Lena, please," she slurred, keys dangling from her manicured fingers. I snatched them, always the hero, and we peeled out into the storm-slick streets, wipers slapping like accusations. She grabbed the wheel. Just like that. "Let me. It's my birthday." Laughter bubbling out, reckless and raw. The curve came too fast, headlights catching a figure on the shoulder, a guy, early 30s, hitchhiking home from a double shift at the auto plant. Thud. The kind of sound that echoes in your nightmares. Meat against metal. Vic screamed, yanked the wheel back, but it was too late. He tumbled into the ditch like discarded trash, taillights painting his crumpled form red. Panic clawed up my throat. Vic was sobbing, smearing lipstick across her cheeks. Oh God. Lena, what do we do? My life's over. Cops would breathalyze her BAC to Pluto, assault with a deadly weapon. Vehicular manslaughter, if he didn't pull through. Our parents, Dad the hotshot corporate lawyer, Mom the real estate queen, would disown her faster than you can say country club blacklist. And me, I saw the out. Stupid. Selfless me. Switch, I whispered, dragging her to the passenger seat. I'll say I was driving. Borrowed the car. You were passed out in the back. She nodded, numb, as I dialed 911 with shaking hands. Accident on 95. Hit a pedestrian. Hurry. Sirens wailed closer. And I wiped the wheel, planted my prints, even smeared some of her gloss on the airbag for good measure. By dawn, the guy's name was out. Tommy Riley, 32. Father of 2. Critical but alive. And me, cuffed in the ER waiting room. Vic, waking up in the back seat like a sleeping beauty from the fairy tale we weren't. The trial was a circus. DA painted me as the reckless millennial archetype. Booze. Bad decisions. No regard for the little guy. My public defender, some overworked schlub named Rizzo, barely mustered a defense. Vic testified. All teary-eyed innocence. Selena wanted to drive. She was celebrating too. Celebrating what? My impending graduation? Lies stacked like Jenga blocks. And when Tommy flatlined 2 weeks later, internal bleeding they missed, I got hit with involuntary manslaughter. 5 years. Eligible for parole after 3. Vic hugged me in the courtroom, whispering, I'll wait for you, sis. Forever. Forever my ass. Parole hearing in 2021, a video call from my cell. Pixelated and pleading. I've changed, I told the board, voice cracking. Vic was supposed to send letters, money for books, maybe a visit. Crickets. Then, 6 months ago, early release for good behavior, COVID overcrowding. They said, and I stepped into the free world with $200 gate money and a bus ticket to Mom's doorstep. No balloons. No welcome home cake. Just Dad's awkward pat on the back and Mom's don't make waves. Selena. Waves? I'd been marinating in resentment like a forgotten pot roast. First week out, I crashed in the guest room, scrolling Vic's Insta on the family Wi-Fi. There she was, Victoria Harper, 28, influencer extraordinaire, hawking athleisure from a penthouse in Rittenhouse Square. Sponsored posts with blessed. Yacht weekends in the Hamptons. That rock on her finger from some tech bro named Chad. No mention of me. No fundraiser for her sister wrongfully imprisoned. Just filters and flexes. I got a job, barista at a Starbucks in Center City. Slinging lattes to hungover finance bros who tipped in condescension. Evenings, I'd sift through old case files I'd FOI'd, piecing together the rot. Tommy's widow, Maria, still scraping by on GoFundMe scraps. Evidence logs with gaps, Vic's phone records scrubbed, a dashcam chip lost in processing. Dad's firm? They'd pulled strings. Quiet settlements to keep it hushed. And Vic? She'd lawyered up post-trial. But not for me. For herself. Burying any loose ends. Christmas loomed like a guillotine. Mom insisted on the full spread, 20-person bash. Catered from Di Bruno Brothers. Tree taller than my parole officer's ego. Family heals, she cooed, handing me the invite like it was a therapy coupon. I showed up in thrift store jeans and a hoodie that smelled faintly of institutional bleach. Hair chopped short and a defiant pixie that screamed, I survived. The gifts piled under the tree like offerings to consumerism's false god. Vic arrived fashionably late. Chad in tow, tall, bland, the kind of guy who quotes Jordan Peterson at brunch. She air-kissed everyone, her perfume a cloud of entitlement, then perched on the ottoman like royalty. Mom played Santa, doling out envelopes and boxes with theatrical flair. Chad first, cufflinks. Monogrammed. Dad, a putting green for the basement. Aunt Karen, essential oils that reeked of pyramid scheme desperation. Then Vic's turn. Mom beamed, sliding over a flat, beribboned package. Vic tore in, squealing at the embossed key fob. Oh my God. Mom, the SLS? In midnight black. Hugs all around. Chad snapping pics for her grid. The car waited outside. Bow the size of a Buick. Headlights winking like it knew the score. My turn. A small velvet pouch. Heavy with nothing but regret. Inside, the necklace. A thin chain with a heart pendant stamped, Sisters Forever. Mom's note. Wear close. Lena. Let it remind you of love. Love. The word tasted like battery acid. That's when the dam broke. The whine. The whisper. The room's stunned silence stretched, then shattered into chaos, Vic shrieking, Mom fainting into Dad's arms, Chad muttering about crazy ex-cons. Cops weren't called. Family privilege has its perks. Instead, they hustled me to the mudroom, coats raining down like judgment. Get out, Dad growled, face purple as the bruise Vic's ego. You've ruined everything again. Ruined? I laughed, bitter and broken, grabbing my duffel from the hall closet. Ask your princess why she's driving free while Tommy Riley's kids eat ramen. Ask her about the blood on that dash she wiped with my soul. Vic hovered in the doorway, wine-damp dress clinging like guilt, eyes darting to her phone. Lena, please. Not like this. But like this was exactly how it had to be. I stepped into the snow, the Mercedes' grill grinning at me like a predator. Vengeance wasn't a gift under the tree. It was the match I'd light next. The cold bit into my skin like a junkyard dog as I trudged down the cul-de-sac. Streetlights haloing the snowflakes in sodium glow. Philly suburbs in December. Picture-perfect postcards from hell, where every McMansion hid a mortgage of misery and every twinkling display screamed, we're fine. Really? My breath fogged the air, mixing with the exhaust from Vic's new toy as Chad revved it to life. Peeling out with her shotgun, probably to console fuck away the drama at some overpriced Ritz suite. I hitched a ride from a neighbor, old Mr. Petrovich, retired steelworker with a '98 Ford that smelled of cabbage and regret. Heard the commotion. Selena. Family's a bitch. Ain't it? He dropped me at my studio walk-up in Fishtown. A third-floor walk-up with peeling wallpaper and a view of the L tracks rattling like Insomnia's soundtrack. Rent was $1,200 a month for 400 square feet of urban charm, paid from tips and the occasional gig walking dogs for yuppie techies who named their labradoodles after craft beers. Inside, I stripped off the wet hoodie, the necklace dangling from my fist like a noose. Sisters Forever. I chucked it into the drawer with the other relics, Vic's old Polaroids. Faded and accusing. The crumpled plea deal from Rizzo, a single letter she'd sent in year 3. All apologies and I miss you platitudes before ghosting again. Sleep came in fits. Dreams of taillights and thudding impacts, waking me sweat-soaked at 3 a.m. to the distant wail of sirens, Philly's lullaby. Dawn brought coffee black as my mood, and a plan hatching like a bad idea in a dive bar. Revenge isn't a sprint, it's a marathon of mindfucks. The kind that leaves scars deeper than bars. First, intel. I'd been hoarding scraps since parole, emails from Maria Riley, Tommy's widow, who'd tracked me down via a prison pen pal site. "If you're innocent, help me bury the bastard who killed my Tom," she'd written, her words raw as an open wound. We'd swapped stories over smuggled stamps, her fighting evictions, his kids in hand-me-downs, me spilling the switcheroo in coded letters to dodge the warden's snitch filter. Maria lived in Kensington now, ground zero for the opioid apocalypse, row homes tagged with grief, corners buzzing with shadows peddling forgetfulness. I Ubers there mid-morning, the cityscape shifting from Fishtown's hipster haze to Kenza's hollow-eyed hustle. She met me on the stoop of a sagging triple-decker, toddler on her hip, eyes wary but warm. "Selena, you look free." We talked over weak tea in her kitchen, Formica counters scarred like my knuckles from prison brawls. She slid a manila folder across, printouts from a PI she'd scraped funds for, the kind of gumshoe who works for ramen and resentment. "Your sister's clean on paper. But dig, that dashcam footage? It surfaced in evidence lockup last year. Misfiled under H for Harper. Timestamp shows her hands on the wheel. And the settlement, $250K to me, funneled through your dad's firm. Signed by Victoria as witness." My gut twisted. Not just betrayal, complicity. Vic hadn't just run, she'd orchestrated the cover. "Why'd you take the deal?" I asked, voice low. Maria shrugged, bouncing the kid who gnawed a teething ring like it owed her money. "Kids gotta eat. But it don't bring Tom back. Or you." She paused, eyes sharpening. "What now? You gonna lawyer up? Sue the bitch. Lawyers cost souls." I had none left to sell.
Nah.
Something better. Personal. Back in Fishtown, I fired up my ancient laptop, parole-mandated tracking software be damned, and dove into Vic's digital empire. Influencer life, sponsor hauls from Fashion Nova, day in a life, vlogs from Pilates to Prosecco brunches. Chad, real name, Chase Whitaker. Heir to Whitaker Tech, some app that gamifies recycling or whatever greenwashed bullshit. Their wedding pinned for June. Invites out to A-listers I'd never met. Comments sections gushed. Goals. Sister wives vibes from trolls who'd kill for a whiff of their privilege. But cracks showed if you squinted. Late night stories. Vic scrolling Zoloft memes. Eyes puffy. A deleted tweet about ghosts in the rearview. And buried in her alumni group chat, hacked via a forgotten password from our dorm days, a rant from 2020. Lena's doing her time like a champ. Family's got her back. Justice for all. Hashtag my ass. The real gem. Bank statements glimpsed in a budgeting haul video. Blurred but decipherable. Transfers from dad's accounts. Labeled v legal fees. Plural. What else had she buried? I needed proof. The kind that burned. Enter Eddie Ruiz. My cell block consigliera, tatted ex-con with a knack for dark web dives and a grudge against the Harpers from a botched foreclosure case. Paroled before me. He ran a consulting gig from a chop shop in North Philly, fixing rides for cash under the table. I met him at dusk, the garage reeking of oil and opportunity, his gold tooth flashing under fluorescent buzz. Selena, me Reina, out and about, looking fierce. He hugged me like a brother, then pulled up a stool. What you need? Dirt on the puta. Who framed you? Everything. I slid him a burner phone with Vic's deets. Financials. Emails. That dash cam if it's floating. And Chase. Boyfriend's loaded. But is he clean? Eddie grinned, cracking his knuckles. 2 weeks.
Tops.
But it costs. Chica. Not just green. Risk. Name it. By week's end, the drip feed started. Screenshots of Vic's Venmo to a fixer in Atlantic City. Time-stamped post-trial. Emails to Dad. Keep Lena's name out of it. She'll crack if she knows about the baby. Baby? My blood ran cold. What the fuck? Deeper dive. A clinic receipt from 2019. Abortion at 12 weeks. Vic. Pregnant from some hookup during my intake hearings. She'd terminated in secret. Dad footing the bill to protect the family image. But the kicker, Tommy's DNA?
No.
The timing overlapped my sentencing. Had she?
No.
Couldn't be. But doubt wormed in. Slimy and insistent. I confronted Maria over burner calls. Ever hear whispers? Vic and Tom. She hesitated. One rumor. From a barfly. Said your sis flirted heavy that night. Before the drive. Tom turned her down, married man. You know? She got pissy. Stormed off. Maybe motive. Motive for murder? Vehicular spite? The pieces slotted. Rejection. Rage. The wheel grab, not accident, but annihilation. Vic. Scheming from the jump. Planting me as the patsy to dodge, not just jail, but scandal. Eddie delivered the dashcam file, on a thumb drive. Grainy but damning. Vic's hands, white-knuckled, yanking hard into the curve. Audio faint. You think you're better? Fuck you. Then the thud. I watched it loop in my dim apartment. Snow piling against the window like unspoken accusations. Revenge crystallized, not a splash, but a flood. I'd leak it anonymously. Tag the influencers. CC Maria's GoFundMe. Watch Vic's empire crumble. Chase bolt. Family fracture. But first, a parley. New Year's Eve loomed. The family reconciliation dinner mom guilt texted about.
Come.
Heal. Heal? I'd bring the scalpel. Vic texted that night. Post-wine incident. We need to talk. Coffee? My treat. XO. Sis. I replied. Starbucks on Walnut. 10 a.m. Bring your lies. The cafe buzzed with post-holiday zombies nursing hangovers in fair trade foam. Vic swept in. Botox fresh. Cashmere scarf draped like armor. We hugged. Awkward. Airless, then claimed a corner booth. Her latte arriving with oat milk and entitlement. Lena. About Christmas. She reached for my hand, rings glinting. I was shocked. But I get it. Prison changed you. Prison? Try your ghosting. I sipped my drip.
Black.
5 years.
Vic.
While you built this. Gestured to her feed on my phone. The thumb drive burning in my pocket. Her eyes flickered. Guilt? Calculation? I visited.
Wrote.
But Dad said.
Space.
And the baby. Baby. I leaned in. Voice venom low. You opted to keep your brand pristine? She recoiled. Then softened. Tears welling on cue. It was complicated.
Tom's.
That night, we hooked up before the bar. He was kind. Listened to my crap. Then he ghosted, married.
Guilty.
I snapped. Grabbed the wheel to scare him when he hitched. Didn't mean. Didn't mean to kill him? Or frame me. I slapped the drive down. Watch.
She did.
Face draining to ash. Then, flip defiance. You took the fall. Said you would. For family.
For you.
The user. The liar. Voices rose. Baristas glanced. Now Maria starves. Tommy's kid's fatherless. And you're flexing mercs? Vic's mask cracked. Then rebuilt. I'll pay her more. Quietly. And I'll hook you up. Job at Chase's firm. Apartment.
Just. Drop it.
We're sisters.
Sisters.
The word hung. Toxic. I stood. Heart hammering. Blood don't buy silence.
Outside.
Flurry swirled. Burying footprints. Her scheme unspooled. Bribe. Bully.
Bury. But mine?
Exponential. Eddie leaked a teaser clip to a true crime subreddit viral bait. By midnight, Harper Hit Run trended in Philly feeds. Vic's handle doxed in comments. Her calls flooded. Rage. Please. Threats via dad's legal muscle. Retract it. Selena. Or parole violation harassment. Harass? This was justice. Jagged and raw. But as snow blanketed the city, doubt crept. Was I avenging Tommy? Or just shattering the mirror that showed my complicity? The switch was my choice too. Gray areas, where right and wrong blurred like wiper streaks on a stormy night. New Year's dawned crisp. The dinner at the club, Philly's old guard. Chandeliers and chicanery. I'd go. Not to heal. To detonate. The Marion Cricket Club loomed like a cathedral of hypocrisy, its ivy-clad walls whispering old money secrets to the January wind. New Year's Eve. 2023, scratch that. 2024 now. The calendar flipping like a guilty conscience. I'd scrubbed up in a borrowed sheath from Maria's thrift haul, black as the void Vic left in me, heels clicking across the marble foyer like countdown ticks. Mom's text had been a velvet gauntlet. One night. Selena. For us.
Us.
As if us hadn't evaporated the night I signed that plea. The ballroom glittered. Crystal beads on gowns. Champagne flutes foaming like suppressed screams. Familiar faces. Dad's golf buddies with third wives half their age. Aunt Karen slurring small talk over caviar bumps. Vic held court by the grand piano. Chase's arm a possessive anchor. Her laugh a brittle shield. She spotted me across the crush. Smile faltering like a bad reception. Then stealing into hostess mode. Lena. You came. Air kiss. Perfume cloying. Champagne. Water. I sidestepped to the bar. Scanning for Maria, she'd RSVP'd as +1 under a fake name. My Trojan horse in pearls. Eddie lurked in the shadows. Catering staff best hiding his ink. Thumb drive cloned and primed on a hidden projector fob. Dinner seated us like a bad joke. Me between Uncle Ted, the Lek, and a Whitaker cousin who mansplained blockchain over bisque. Vic diagonal. Eyes darting. Foot tapping Morse code under the damask cloth. Toast circled. Prosperity.
Peace.
The usual pablum. Dad raised his glass. Voice booming. To family. Unbreakable. Unbreakable. I clinked. The chime a lie. Midway through the pear sorbet, Vic excused herself, nodding me toward the powder room. Ladies' lounge, gilt mirrors reflecting fractured faces. Vanity littered with compacts and conquests. She cornered me by the sinks. Voice a hiss. Take it down.
Now.
Chase's board saw the clip. Stock dipped 2%. My life's imploding. Your life. I laughed. Low and lethal. Try mine. Or Tommy's. You flirted. Fucked. Then flattened him for rejection. Planted me as the fall girl to dodge the slut-shame headlines. Her face crumpled. Then contorted flip one. Victim. I was scared. 23. Wasted. Wrong turn. You offered. I offered protection. You took annihilation. I pulled the phone. Clip cued. Her eyes widened at the audio. Her slur. The thud. This goes live at midnight. Full leak, emails, receipts. Your clinic run. Harper hit run becomes your scarlet letter. Panic flashed. Then calculation flipped to ally.
Wait.
We pivot. Say it was mutual self-defense. He lunged or some shit. Dad's firm spins it. You get half the settlement. Reinstated. Clean slate.
Clean?
The word mocked. For what? Your next Birkin binge. Voices echoed from stalls, Karen gossiping about poor Victoria's troubles. Vic leaned closer. Breath minty with desperation. Please.
Lena.
The baby's ghost. It haunts me too. And Chase, he knows now. Wants out unless I fix this.
Fix.
As if lives were faulty faucets. I pocketed the phone. Stepping back. Midnight. Your move. Back in the fray. Tension coiled like smoke from the pyre I'd built. Eddie sidled up. Tray of canapes a prop. Fobs synced to the AV system. Hit the head. It plays on every screen, projectors. Phones via Bluetooth hack. I nodded. Pulse thundering. Maria materialized then. Elegant in a vintage wrap. Her smile a stiletto. Selena. Hug tight. Then whisper. Kids are with a sitter. This ends tonight for Tom. The countdown clock ticked on the dais. 11:45. Ball drop prep. Confetti cannons primed. Auld Lang Syne sheets distributed. Vic worked the room. Schmoozing salvagers. But her eyes tracked me like a hawk on a hare. Chase pulled her aside. Argument flashing in furrowed brows. She shoved him off. Flipping to charm for the Whitakers. 11:55. I slipped to the AV booth. Lost earring. Excuse granting access. Tech kid. Barely 20. Waved me off. Too buzzed on open bar to care. Eddie outside. Look out. My thumb hovered over the fob button. Heart a war drum. Press. And empires fell. Vic's feeds flooded. Sponsors bailed. Dad's rep torched. Maria avenged. Kids college funded from lawsuits.
Me?
Catharsis. Or cuffs for tampering. Doubts surged, gray wave crashing. I'd enabled her once. Was this enabling my own monster? Tommy's face in my mind. Grainy obit photo. Kind eyes. Mill dust in his laugh lines.
No.
For him. 11:58. Vic materialized. Breathless. Don't. Hand on my wrist. Nails digging. Think. This destroys us all. Mom's cancer scare last year? Stress triggered it. Dad's heart. Cancer? Heart?
Lies.
Or half-truths. Flip 3. Martyr. You owe me, Lena, for covering your ass that night too. Remember the weed in the glove box? Your prince. I didn't snitch. My prince. The joint I'd tokayed once. Post-finals stress. She'd known. Held it like leverage. The switch wasn't just mercy, it was mutual blackmail. A devil's bargain. You bitch, I breathed. Family, she countered, eyes gleaming. We fix messes. Together. The clock chimed. Confetti poised. Guests linked arms, swaying to the orchestra's swell. Maria across the room, nodding go. Eddie thumbs up from the bar. But Vic's grip tightened, pleading morphing to threat. Press it, and I scream. Ex-con hacking the club. Parole revoked. Back to Rahway. Stalemate. Polaroid moment, her. Schemer supreme. Flipping from villain to victim in a heartbeat span.
Me?
Avenger or accomplice. No heroes here. Just survivors clawing from the wreckage. 11:59. I yanked free. Fob clutched. Your mess. Own it.
Pressed.
Screens flickered, projectors, iPads at tables, even the Jumbotron ball drop feed. Grainy dashcam rolled, hands on wheel, slur,
Thud.
gasps rippled. Then roar, horror, whispers exploding to shouts. Harper? As in Victoria? That's manslaughter. Vic froze. Spotlighted in revelation. Chase peeling away like scalded skin. Chaos erupted, Mom swooning into chairs. Dad bellowing for security. Karen live tweeting the scandal. Maria stood tall. Tears carving tracks. Mouthing thank you. Eddie melted into the crowd.
Job done.
Vic lunged. Nails raking my arm. You destroyed us. Scream raw. Unfiltered. First real crack in the facade. Security swarmed, hauling us apart as Auld Lang Syne warbled discordant. Ball dropped. Confetti raining like judgment flakes. Midnight kiss turned melee. The club a coliseum of cancelled toasts. Cops arrived by 12:15, Philly's finest.
Cuffs at the ready.
But not for me. Vic babbled. Flipping to confession. It was me. I did it. Partial. Panicked enough to muddy waters. Claim accident. Blame shared. Dad's lawyer materialized. Spinning webs of youthful mistake and restitution pending. They took her statement in a side room. Me released with a warning. Stay clean. Harper.
Outside.
Snow fell thicker, burying the night's sins. Maria hugged me fierce. It started. Justice. Messy, but real. But as I cabbed home, Vic's final glare burned, not defeated, but plotting. Flip 4, Phoenix from ashes. Her schemes? Endless. And mine? The cost tallied in fractured bonds. A family reduced to feuding factions. Was it worth it? The night whispered no. Then yes. Then maybe. Gray as the dawn breaking over the Schuylkill, where bridges span divides too wide to cross. January thawed into February slush. Philly's streets a metaphor for the mess I'd made, puddles reflecting distorted truths. Salt grit grinding underfoot. The leak went nuclear. Harper hit run hit national feeds. Dateline sniffing for a special. GoFundMe for Maria surging past 6 figures overnight. Vic's Insta? A ghost town. Sponsors scattering like roaches at dawn. Adidas dropping her mid-campaign. That athleisure line rebranded to ethical activewear overnight. Chase bolted public. Deeply disturbed. Reevaluating partnership. Translation. Prenup activated. Ring returned via FedEx.
Me?
I hunkered in Fishtown. Blinds drawn against the paparazzi drones buzzing like vengeful hornets. Parole officer upped check-ins to weekly. Her side-eye screaming one wrong move. Kid. Job at Starbucks? Axed after a disturbance. Some influencer stan recognized me. Hurled a frappuccino with murderer enabler scrawled on the cup. Eddie went dark. Whispering from a burner. Feds circling the family. Lay low. Raina. Mom called once. Voice a wire-thin thread. Selena, you've killed us. Dad's firm. Clients fleeing like rats. No mention of cancer. That was Vic's ploy. Confirmed by hospital records Eddie swiped. But the heart?
Real.
Dad's ticker fluttered post-scandal. Triple bypass scheduled. Guilt gnawed. A rat in my ribs had I pushed him over? Or liberated him from the lie? Vic. She lawyered to the hilt. Dad's protégé spinning, tragic accident. Shared responsibility. Bail hearing. She emerged pale but poised. Flipping to media darling. Presser outside the courthouse. Flanked by crisis PR. My sister and I were young.
Scared.
We protected each other.
Now.
We seek forgiveness. For Tommy. For his family. Soundbite gold. Humanizing the monster. Polls, yeah. They ran on cable news, split the crowd. 52% justice served. 48% sisters sticking together. Overblown. Polarized perfection. Debates raging in bars and basements. Was Vic a cold killer or cornered kid?
Me.
The righteous avenger or bitter snitch? Maria thrived in the storm. Relocated the kids to a duplex in Manayunk. Therapy funded. College funds seeded. We met weekly at a dive on Frankfurt. Her laugh returning like a prodigal. Tom'd buy you a beer. Selena. For seeing what I couldn't. But her eyes held shadows. Vic reached out. Offered more money. Hush gift, she called it. Hush. The word festered. I waved it off. But it burrowed. Revenge's aftertaste. Ash and ambiguity. March brought the twist. The gut punch that flipped the script harder than Vic ever could. Summons to Dad's office, Harper and Associates. Corner suite overlooking the Liberty Bell. Irony thick as the mahogany desk. He looked frail. Post-surgery pallor. But eyes sharp as deposition daggers.
Sit.
Selena.
No small talk.
He slid a dossier across my dossier. Not Vic's. Pages thick with surveillance, parole reports. Eddie's chop shop visits. Maria's calls logged. You're in deep, he said. Voice gravel. Feds want conspiracy. Evidence tampering. Witness coercion. Coercion? My laugh barked out. From the girl who framed me? Spare me. He leaned forward. Temples veined blue. Truth's grayer.
Kid.
That night, Vic grabbed the wheel.
Yes.
But the joint? Your idea, we'd laced with something heavier. From your dealer. You dosed the drinks. Hyped the party. Blackout bait.
Laced.
The room spun. Flashes, sophomore year. Experimental phase. Scoring special kush from a campus connect. I'd bragged to Vic. Loosen everyone up. And yeah, slipped it into the punch.
But intent?
Party fuel. Not plot. I didn't mean. You meant chaos. Vic covered, ate the evidence. Blamed the bar. Then the crash. She panicked. Switched to shield you both. But Tommy? He wasn't random. You'd flirted too. Weeks prior. At the Mills open house. Dad's client outreach. He rebuffed you. Nice girl. But married. Stung.
Huh?
Subconscious swerve.
No.
Bullshit psychobabble. But the dossier had texts me to Vic. Pre-party. That Tommy guy's a tease. Let's show him fun. Her reply. Will's mine tonight. Watch. Conspiracy of crushes. Crash as collateral. I bolted. Dossier clutched like a curse. Hailing a cab to Vic's penthouse, foreclosure pending. But still hers. She answered in silk pajamas. Mid-panic pack. Boxes strewn like battlefield debris.
Lena?
What? Dad spilled. I thrust the pages. We both dosed. Both scorned. It was us. Vic. A joint fuck-up. She sank to the carpet. Flipping to raw. No scheme. Just sister stripped. I knew. Buried it to protect you from yourself. The good girl, remember? Couldn't let you rot for my mess. But when you pushed, I flipped. Lied to survive. Tears hot. Mine or hers. We sat amid the rubble. Confessions cascading. Her abortion not Tommy's. But a bar flings. Timing coincidence. Clinic a secret from shame. The settlements? Dad's guilt money. For failing us both. Family's poison. Lena. We enable the worst. Gray engulfed, no villain. Just vortex. I'd avenged a phantom. Shattered mirrors reflecting my shards. Vic's schemes? Shields. Cracked now. Mine? Sword turned plowshare. Too late. Cops came dawn. Joint indictment. Plea bargain down, probation for me. Community service for her. Maria? She visited court. Hugged us both. Tom's at peace. Flawed folks.
All.
Spring bloomed.
Tentative.
Vic and I rented a shared walk-up in Graduate Hospital, neutral ground. Therapy mandated. No mercs. Just Metro cards and mending. Dinner's awkward. Laughs earned. One night. Over ramen. She dangled the necklace. Wear it. For real this time.
I did.
Not forever. Nothing is. But for now. Sisters. Scarred and stitching. Ending? Debatable triumph. Justice jagged. Bonds reforged in fire's forge. Happy? In the margins. Tragic? In the burns. You decide. Reader. Blood's thicker than wine, but thinner than truth.